Hey, what's poppin', gamers? Welcome back to another epic YouTube video. Today I'd like to talk with you all about how the words Nazi and fascist have been misused. I'm not speaking as if I were a Nazi. I'm speaking as an intellectual alpha chud gamer who has some knowledge of history. Many people in America will constantly call people who disagree with them a Nazi or fascist, especially if they're Republicans or relating to the right wing. Although there are some cases where Democrats who don't support extremist left groups are called fascist, Trump-loving, cow-suckling, ball-fondling, Ku Klux Klan supporting, MAGA hat-wearing beta cucks. Now I'm gonna sound like a bit of a boomer, but back during the Cold War, it was something a little similar. Americans would say that someone is a communist or commie when they disagreed with them, but it was more likely as a joke or just because, most Americans feared that we may go into World War III and be killed by Russians. But hey, now it's 2019 and the word Nazi and fascist aren't really used as a joke, either because people using those words don't know the history of fascism and Nazism, or because they mentally believe it is improbable or impossible someone is disagreeing with them, especially if it's a political disagreement. A couple of years before the Nazis were a thing, there was some bald guy in Italy named Benito Mussolini who's like, "Ayo, pasta fazool, ayo," but really he was anti-war, going against the government for fighting in World War I, until he realized, hey, I could be Caesar from ancient Rome. So he was kicked out of the anti-war group in Italy and formed a political movement called Fascismo, which soon took over Italy. You could say that this was Italian fascism, but I would disagree, as it's nearly identical to regular old fascism. Fascists want a one-party totalitarian dictatorship, being able to lay out some guidelines as well. Everything in the state, nothing outside the state, and nothing against the state. So basically, everything supports us and we own it if it's in the state. Nothing supports us and we don't own it if it's outside the state. And, well, some other nations, well, if they were to go against us, we would have to use some force. But that's mainly a definition for fascist, because to be completely honest with all of you, it's really hard to define fascism. But the most common and accepted definitions by Stanley Payne, who said the goals of a fascist government are anti-liberalism, anti-communism, and anti-conservatism. The overall goal of a fascist government is the creation of a nationalist dictatorship to regulate economic structure and to transform social relations within a modern, self-determined culture, and the expansion of a nation into an empire. And the fascist common style is a political aesthetic of romantic symbolism, mass mobilization, a positive view of violence, promotion of masculinity, youth, and charismatic authoritarian leadership. Now that we went over the beginning and definition of fascism, we need to go over Nazism. Google's definition for Nazi is a member of the National Socialist German Workers' Party. But for some inbred swine, they don't know too much about history. Let's quickly go over some things about the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei. To begin, the Nazi Party wasn't originally called the big German words I just said. It was originally called the German Workers' Party before 1919 until famous funny small mustache man Adolf Hitler discovered it while working as an informant for the Weimar Republic to eliminate any communist parties in the political system. Adolf Hitler made the German Workers' Party fewer workers and more anti-Semitics against the Treaty of Versailles and for a reborn German Reich which support German Lebensraum. But even that is an understatement to the true extension of Nazism. Now, since I already went over fascism and all, I think it's not really necessary for me to go over Nazism in excruciating detail like I do with fascism, so let's move on. Now that we've covered that, what's the difference between the alt-right and Nazism/fascism? Well, it all depends on who you're talking about. Yes, there are Confederate supporters or Ku Klux Klan alt-right members who vote for the American Nazi Party or another extremist party, or they may just even vote Republican. However, there are also those who want to get lost from trolling an Antifa member, so they'll vote Donald Trump and then go around waving a Kyrgyzstan flag at a Trump rally. All in all, the alt-right may have been introduced to America by Richard Spencer, but it's truly by 4chan for the lols. So depending on who we're talking about, yes, there are Nazis and fascists in the alt-right supporting American Nazi Party or some other extremist party, or like I said, the Republicans. So that doesn't mean every rightist is a Nazi or Confederate supporter or Ku Klux Klan member. I'd have to say, in a way, the alt-right is connected to Nazis and white nationalism, but there's never going to be a chancellor who comes out of nowhere and then proceeds to invade Poland. Alright, so now you understand what a Nazi is and what a fascist is. Surely there is someone or something out there that can help us combat this growing issue in America. Well, from the shadows, there's a group somewhere out there fighting people who support Nazism and fascism. Its name? Well, its name is Antifa. The American one, not the German one. American Antifa is a self-righteous group that wants to keep the peace across America and eliminating Nazis, racist, alt-right, or fascist organizations/people. The problem with Antifa is the way that they enforce this justice. Well, as you just saw, it's violence. Similar to what we talked about earlier with German Lebensraum. I'm not saying that Antifa is secretly comprised of fascists or people who want to be big brother. I'm just saying that they're using violence and harassment to stop people from having their own political ideology, only allowing them to support the left, which is pretty un-American of them. Where have I heard of that before? Yes, yes. All in all, people misuse words, which can lead to some laws, but for the most part, it's mainly annoying. No matter where you stand on the political compass, we've had good Democratic presidents, bad Democratic presidents, good Republican presidents, and bad Republican presidents. There will always be a bad president for each good president. Just be glad we have the option to debate politics and choose what we please, and we're not stuck with something like the Democratic Socialist Party.
Just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, as it's a topic I'm pretty passionate about. So, if you liked it, let me know so I can make more of these. Stick around if you like my content. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Later.